Have you ever sacrificed yourself just to keep a relationship? Ignored your principles, suppressed your emotions, just to please a woman? If so, it's time to stop. I'm Joel, and this is Stoic Wisdom, where men learn to live with discipline, purpose, and true value. Today, you'll discover 20 things a high-value man should never do with a woman, not to control her, but to master yourself. Comment: I lead with value. If you're ready, let's begin. 1. Never sacrifice your values. A high-value man lives by principle, not pressure. When you're around a woman you deeply admire, it's tempting to bend your values just to keep her close. You tell yourself it's just this once. But that once becomes a pattern. And the truth is, every time you betray your values to be accepted, you lose a piece of your identity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That's not just ancient wisdom, it's a rule for life. Women may be drawn to many things in a man, but they stay for consistency, integrity, and unshakable standards. Your values are your backbone. If they snap under pressure, so will your sense of self. 2. Never try to fix her. You're not her therapist. You're not her savior. You're not responsible for healing wounds you didn't create. Many good men fall into this trap. She's broken. You see potential. You step in and lose yourself, trying to patch up someone who doesn't want to be whole. But here's the hard truth. If she doesn't want to grow, you can't force her to evolve. Trying to fix her will only drain your energy, cloud your judgment, and leave you questioning your worth. You weren't made to be her emotional project. You were made to lead your own path, with strength, purpose, and clarity. 3. Never seek validation from her. The moment you need her approval to feel secure, you've handed over your power. A high-value man knows that validation is an inside job. You don't need her likes, her compliments, or her constant reassurance to confirm that you're enough. Because the truth is, if your confidence is based on her opinion, it's not confidence. It's dependency. Stoicism teaches us that our worth comes from within. Not from what she says, not from what she feels, but from the man you become when no one's watching. Self-respect starts when you stop chasing applause and start living by principle. 4. Never rush the process. You meet a woman, the chemistry is strong, your emotions accelerate, and you think, this must be it. But slow down. Real connection takes time. If you rush it, you'll miss red flags. You'll overlook incompatibilities. You'll project fantasy onto a reality that doesn't exist. The Stoic path is patient. A high-value man doesn't fall in love with potential. He waits. He observes. He lets time reveal the truth. Because what's real doesn't need to be rushed. It only needs to be earned. 5. Never neglect your purpose for her. Your mission in life is your anchor. Abandon it, and you drift. No woman, no matter how beautiful or loving, should pull you away from the work you're here to do. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Many men trade in their goals for emotional comfort. But a high-value man keeps his focus sharp. He doesn't lose himself in the highs and lows of love. He loves, without forgetting why he wakes up in the morning. Purpose isn't just about success. It's about becoming the man you're meant to be, even when love tries to detour you. 6. Never become her emotional crutch. You're not her emotional dumping ground. Being supportive doesn't mean becoming her therapist. If every conversation drains you, if she only calls when she's overwhelmed, and if you're constantly fixing her chaos, you've stopped being a partner and become her emotional life raft. A high-value man offers stability, but he doesn't carry another person's unresolved baggage. You deserve a relationship where emotions flow in both directions, where she sees your heart, not just your strength. You're not here to absorb storms. You're here to build a life with someone who knows how to bring calm too. 7. Never react emotionally to manipulation. She pushes your buttons, withdraws affection, says things to trigger a response, and you feel it. That pull to lash out, defend, prove, argue. But a high-value man doesn't flinch. He doesn't let emotions hijack his clarity. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's where real power lies. When you respond with logic instead of emotion, you take away her ability to control the narrative. You remain steady, grounded, untouchable. And that's exactly what sets you apart. 8. Never explain your worth. If she doesn't see it, you walk. You don't plead. You don't list your accomplishments. You don't try to convince her to recognize your value. Because a high-value man knows his worth is self-evident to those who are worthy of him. The moment you start over-explaining, you enter the frame of insecurity. And insecurity repels respect. Let your actions speak. Let your boundaries speak louder. And let your silence say everything when needed. 9. Never prioritize her over your well-being. You skip the gym, you stop meditating, you ignore your goals, and before you know it, your life revolves around her moods, her needs, her schedule. That's not love. That's imbalance. A high-value man protects his peace. He understands that self-care isn't selfish. It's sacred. Because when you're strong, grounded, and whole, you bring more to the table, not less. You're not here to lose yourself in someone else. You're here to become someone they'd never want to lose. 10. Never tolerate inconsistency. One day she's warm, the next she's cold. She says one thing, but does another. And still, you justify it. You hope she'll change. You chase the version of her from the beginning. But inconsistency is not confusion, it's communication. She's telling you you're not her priority, and a high-value man doesn't entertain half-hearted effort. He doesn't invest in maybe. If she's not consistent, you withdraw your energy. Not as punishment, but as protection. Your presence is earned through consistency, nothing less. 11. Never allow her to disrespect you. It starts small. A sarcastic comment here, a passive-aggressive tone there, a subtle eye roll when you speak, and if you let it slide once, you've silently agreed to be disrespected. But a high-value man doesn't tolerate disrespect, not once, not ever. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." You don't fight fire with fire, you fight it with distance, with dignity, with a boundary that doesn't need to be explained. When you walk away from disrespect, you don't lose her. You reclaim yourself. 12. Never become predictable. Routine is comfort, but predictability? That's where attraction dies. When she can anticipate every word, every move, every decision, the mystery fades. And without mystery, desire doesn't breathe. A high-value man stays grounded in who he is, but he evolves. He grows. He surprises. Not by changing who he is, but by becoming more of himself every day. Stay interesting. Stay unexpected. And keep sharpening your edge. 13. Never be overly attached. Attachment is not love, it's fear wearing a disguise. The fear of losing her, the fear of being alone, the fear of starting over. And when that fear takes over, you start clinging, you start compromising, you start shrinking. But Stoicism teaches detachment, not indifference but clarity. You can love her deeply without chaining your identity to her presence. You don't own her. She doesn't complete you. You are whole, with or without her. 14. Never ignore your intuition. Something feels off. She says all the right things, but your gut tightens. That's not paranoia. That's your inner compass. And the worst mistake a man can make is silencing his instinct in the name of being reasonable. You've been given a sense for a reason. Use it. If her words don't match her actions, believe the actions. A high-value man doesn't wait to be proven wrong. He listens when the subtle signals whisper, because they're always more honest than words. 15. Never engage in drama. She wants to fight, to bait you, to provoke a reaction. But you don't dance with chaos. You don't match her energy. You master yours. Drama is noise, a test, a distraction from your path. Stoicism teaches, control what you can, let go of what you can't. You can't control her behavior, but you can choose not to participate. You don't raise your voice, you raise your standards. 16. Never lower your standards for intimacy. She's beautiful, she's tempting, she knows exactly what to say. But here's the trap. You start ignoring the red flags just to satisfy the moment. You trade your long-term standards for short-term pleasure. And when it's over, you're not fulfilled. You're empty. You know you settled. A high-value man doesn't let lust outrun his logic. He doesn't need physical connection at the cost of emotional chaos. He values depth, discipline, and the power of delayed gratification. 17. Never chase her attention. Attention that you have to beg for isn't real. It's conditional, it's bait. The more you chase, the more she pulls away. Why? Because desperation is repulsive? But a high-value man never begs to be noticed. He simply becomes undeniable. Through how he walks, how he speaks, how he lives. He's not performing. He's just aligned. And that alone draws the right people in, without the chase. 18. Never stay where you're not respected. She's passive-aggressive, she's dismissive, she talks down to you, but you tell yourself, she'll change. She's just in a bad mood. No, brother, she sees how far she can go, and you just showed her there are no limits. A high-value man has one rule. If I'm not respected, I leave. Not out of spite, but out of self-worth. Because respect isn't earned by staying. It's earned by knowing when to walk. 19. Never allow your emotions to control you. You're angry, jealous, triggered. She's pressing every button. And in that moment, you want to explode, to prove a point, to win. But a man who's ruled by emotion isn't a man. He's a puppet. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that freedom comes from emotional control. You pause, you reflect, you respond with reason, not rage. That's strength, that's masculinity, that's power. 20. Never forget your own worth. When things go wrong, when you feel rejected, when someone treats you like you're less, remember this. You were valuable before she met you. You'll be valuable long after she's gone. Seneca said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." It's not about ego. It's about awareness. Your value doesn't fluctuate based on her mood, her past, or her decisions. You are the constant, the foundation, the force. Never forget that. Being a high-value man isn't about perfection. It's about principle. It's about choosing discipline over impulse, purpose over pleasure, and self-respect over temporary validation. These 20 rules aren't just relationship advice. They're a blueprint for masculine mastery. So if this message hit home, comment below. I lead with value. Let the world know your standards aren't negotiable. This is Joel, and you've been watching Stoic Wisdom, where men don't chase approval, they build themselves. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you never miss your next lesson in self-mastery. Until next time, stand firm, live with honor, and never forget who you are.